Hello?
Hello?
Jonathan, how are you?
Good, mate. How's it going?
Not bad at all. Listen, I saw your film last Friday and just really want to congratulate you on it.
Thank you very much.
And I've been speaking to my other film blogger critic mates, and we all think you have something really special there, so congrats with it.
Oh, look, that's really nice to hear, and, that's, ultimately why you make films is for people to, find something in them and hopefully that, that to be a profound thing, so I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for that. Okay, so let's get straight into the questions. Look, this is a really intense and kind of complex movie. Can you explain to me the origins of writing your script for Burning Man?
Look, there's a certain autobiography to it. My partner passed away 10 years ago, and about 5 years after that, I started reflecting back on, the experience I'd had, and in particular the year straight after that, where, you kind of, all rules, there are no rules in a sense, and you have this sort of extraordinary excuse to behave and be and say and do whatever you like, almost like as if you've got a get out of jail free card in your back pocket. And, once you get past the tragedy and the sadness of it, the unexpected part of it is that there's sort of a freedom and an exhilaration that goes with it, because you're a 40-year-old person who can behave like a 20-year-old again, and I think that's a very liberating and unexpected part of that process. And anyway, I was thinking back on this and just sort of thinking about how it'd be really interesting to explore a character going through that period of time. So I started writing, ideas and scenes and images that I felt would be really good. And about, as I say, that went on for about 6 months, and then I'd been writing a script about a chef, and most of the rest of my family are chefs, so I kind of know that world a little bit. Mm-hmm. I've worked in a lot of kitchens, and it just occurred to me that the two went so perfectly together. And so the screenplay really started to take shape. Yep. And I wrote a first draft, and then really spent the next 18 months just, rewriting and finessing the script, so that not only the story, but also, more importantly, the structure and the emotional through line of Tom's journey really started to work.
Well, Matthew Good plays Tom. Where did the idea come from to have your main character be British?
Well, one of the things that I found, and I spoke to many people about this, and one of the reoccurring themes was that living through an experience like that for a period of time, there's this great sense of isolation, that you're dealing with a surreal and topsy-turvy, upside-down world, but you're sort of dealing with it alone. And I didn't really want to address that in a literal or naturalistic way in the screenplay. I much preferred the idea of trying to sort of, in a sense, integrate it into the sort of organic texture of the film. And so the idea to have someone who was sort of one step removed from, the local culture just seemed like a really good way of doing that. Mm-hmm. And, I met Matthew in London, and we hit it off, and he read the script. I think he was really looking to do something really challenging. We kind of met half a dozen times over the space of a couple of weeks, and, he really responded to the script. And, I really needed an actor who was going to take this material and take the screenplay by the neck and really go at it 100%, commit to it 100%. And Matthew really convinced me that he would. And apart from being a great actor and realising that, he also brings a great charm and warmth and humour to everything that he does. And I thought that was really important too. So, once I got to meet Matthew, casting him and feeling what it would be like with him in that role, became a very immediate thing. And once I was comfortable with that, we were then able to move on and in a sense, cast the rest of the film.
Well, your script asks your actors to go to some really primal places, and they deliver just really fantastic performances. What type of processes did you go through in securing their trust for some of these scenes, which can be quite confronting?
Well, I think, as with any scene and with any movie and with any character, the director and the actor really need to find a place that they can communicate in, and that it's an open communication, that you can talk about what you feel the material is about, what a scene is about, what the point and the role of that character is in the big jigsaw puzzle of a film. And when you choose and cast really good actors, they come equipped with that sort of approach. And I try to instigate that sort of approach. I try to build an environment where people feel, cast and crew feel they can do their best work. And so with a cast of this magnitude and a cast of the quality of the actresses that I asked to do the roles, actors really thrive on material like this. They're forever searching for material in which that challenges them as actors, that in a sense they feel as if they can bring something meaningful, deep and profound to. And I was lucky enough to interest the cast that I did. And I think one also has to say they brought so much to their individual characters, but also with a great commitment to their role in the film as a whole. And I think that they really enjoyed contributing. All of them loved the film as a whole, and that was really important as well.
I'd like to talk about the structure of the film. It's kind of got this scattered, you mentioned a jigsaw before. Was that how it was presented in the script, or was that a product of post-production?
No, that was how I started writing it, actually. And, it was very important to me to find a structure that somehow reflected Tom's emotional and psychological state. And, what I found and what a lot of, other people I've researched is that, your life is fractured, and that's the whole point, is that to use a structure like that, there really needs to be a solid purpose behind it. And really the idea of it is that it helps tell the story of Tom's state, and which is, a very fractured life, a very fractured view on it's a kaleidoscope of images rather than a naturalistic experience of life for a period of time. And that structure really suited the telling of the story and allowed us to tell the story in a way that was that really drew the audience in and gave them access to where Tom was at.
Yep. The film is big on visual the film is big on visual symbology, with fire in particular used a lot. At one point you even had a burning bush, which some people can take as almost theological because of its religious symbology. What was your goal in injecting these symbolic gestures throughout the film?
Well, I think, as I've mentioned, I think the way, the state that Tom is in, you relate to the world in a much more abstract way and almost a surreal way. And, I wanted to fill the film with images of life. Fire is actually a very life-giving and life-affirming. It's about rebirth, and water and food and sex and intimacy and love. All those elements fill the film. And the fire thing, because of his connection to fire as a chef, and also the experience he has when, particularly when he comes out of the crematorium and looks back and sees his life go up in smoke, just those images, I was really interested in exploring how those experiences manifest themselves on the psychology of a character. And, I think that they're open to interpretation and they're open to audiences, in a sense, digesting them as they feel fit. There's no definitive answer to that question. What does it mean? Some of the impetus and some of the themes and meaning, that I've just mentioned have gone into it, and they're the starting points of it. But I also wanted a visual metaphor throughout the film that somehow reflected the incendiary nature of what Tom was going through and the incendiary nature of his personality. Yep. He responds in a very, as if it is a fire exploding in a number of scenes, and it's very reflective of someone who is struggling to make sense of the new world in which they exist.
Yep. You are working on the Railway Man next, which is a WW2 drama that will star Colin Firth. What can you tell me about that project?
Well, it's a story set in both more modern times and also during the war in the 40s. It's about a guy who was a railway enthusiast who ended up on the Burma Railway was tortured very badly by the Japanese, but survived. But his whole life was was kind of ruined as a result. And one day he meets this woman who helps him confront some of the things that he's gone through, that results in him finding out where one particular perpetrator of a Japanese soldier was, and he goes out to kill him. But it's a great story of humanity and of forgiveness and of love and all sorts of things.
Well, Burning Man's a great story as well. I congratulate you again for the film, and I wish you the best when it's released next week.
Oh, look, thanks very much, and really appreciate talking to you. It's been great.
You too, Jonathan. See you later.
Okay, thanks, mate. Bye.
Bye.